The Crew Motorfest finally released a little over a week ago now for Gold Edition owners, and I was able to hop on about every day until now. If you want the too long didn't read version, I like the game a lot, but it does still have some flaws. Alright, first things first, I found the custom controller inputs. Honestly, a little hard to find in these modern games where the menus are simultaneously in your face and tell you nothing, but once found, it's great. I'm personally a fan of the OG Horizon button setup, probably because I've been playing with that button setup since I was like 10, but regardless. Yes, I can happily say the Crew Motorfest does have the ability to apply your own desired controller inputs. Now for what most everyone here would consider the most important part of racing games, the physics. I talked about it in my beta video and I'm happy to say there is no real change in the physics. They're still just as I remember them. Cars understeer when you enter too hot and oversteer when you get on the throttle too early. Manual is fun to use with my custom button inputs. And turning off assists and experimenting with that is actually very rewarding. Not to mention there's the same pro tuning option from the last Crew game, which opens up a menu of sliders that change how the car handles and reacts. The next thing I gotta mention is the gameplay loop. Playlists. I released a handful of curated series based around races and drives following the theme of that playlist. Some of my personal favorites were the Lamborghini playlist, the Drift playlist, and I have to mention the Liberty Walk playlist. Definitely my favorite one. Hopefully more future playlists to focus on the aftermarket titans of the automotive world, because this one was seriously my favorite. Some of these playlists are multi-race tournaments. Tournaments are honestly my favorites. I think there's 3 tournaments in the game on release off the top of my head. And if you're anything like me, someone who puts your head down and really gets into the meat and potatoes of a game, you'll probably beat all the main races in about 10-20 hours, give or take. After you beat a playlist, you get access to these playlist challenges, a range of tasks typically requiring the reward vehicle and bundle they recommended you buy for that playlist. I've heard some mixed opinions on the challenges around the net. Personally, I like them. Not only does it give you a reason to use vehicles you wouldn't have normally, it keeps you coming back to the game, giving you something to do well after you've quote-unquote beat the game. Plus, you get a decent amount of reward for your effort. In-game money, crew credits, vanity items, and even clothes. Now comes the multiplayer. The main reason I keep coming back. When it works, it's one of the best racing games out right now, hands down. Between the free roam on the lush tropical roads with all my friends, the ever-prevalent Summit, which if you play at the Crew 2 or even the first Crew, you're more than familiar with that, and the Grand Races, which honestly have no reason to be as much fun as they are. Multi-class racing across all disciplines in-game with 28 other drivers. It's as chaotic as it sounds. Now I must admit, there's a chronic skill issue across most opponents in the Grand Races. Be prepared to be used as a brake before sharp corners, and don't be surprised when the bump and grind comes out on the straights. But even with all the skill issues blocking the road, this, hands down, is my favorite multiplayer game mode. Now, all that being said, I gotta bring up the flaws, even if they are a smidge nitpicky. First, for me this is a big one. No race creator at launch. I mean, both of the past Crew games have had race creators. Granted, Crew 2's race creator isn't even a year old as of making this, and the OG Crew race creator was exceptionally basic. But something is always better than nothing. And right now Motorfest has nothing. I'm hoping for more in-depth creators soon, a la Dirt 5 or Horizon, but Ivory Tower hasn't confirmed anything yet. Second, if you're a fan of convenience and fast travel, you won't get it. At least not until you beat like 10 playlists. Again, kind of a pain, but the drives were never too much for me. I've always found myself enjoying going from one race to the other. However, I do understand why that would get old, especially if you don't have the luxury of being able to transfer your cars from the previous game. Oh, and the past Motor Pass cars are spotty. And by that I mean some of these past Motor Pass or Summit Reward cars are purchasable, but not all of them. Frankly, I don't understand the thought process behind this. Either keep them as rewards for the people who unlocked them, or have them all be purchasable. As is, there's going to be a new wave of reward cars, so I really don't see the harm in having the ability to buy ultra custom cars. And then there's Ubisoft's Sudo MMO bullshit. I don't know why they're trying to push this on all of their modern games coming out right now, but it started with Riders Republic. And another thing, while I'm talking about the MMO crap, I don't like the upgrade system in this game. It serves its purpose, the cars get quicker, it's understandable, but I absolutely hate that it's cards with numbers that you change, kind of similar to like those mobile gotcha games. It's crap. I hate the upgrade system. Let me just treat it like a normal car and have change these parts so the car can go faster. It doesn't need to be some elaborate MMO numbers get bigger, car go quicker scheme. Although now that I said those words out loud, that is essentially what building a car is. Regardless, I don't like it. Give me the ability to change actual parts. But regardless, the Sudo MMO is a double-edged sword. Hear me out. It's cool to see other racers and races going on in free roam. It makes the world feel more alive, even if there are no pedestrians walking around. And hearing all the souped up cars going crazy in the map is pretty cool. But when you see a squad of ghosts coming towards you, you have the impression that they're just going to pass right through you. But amongst that field of ghosts was one traffic car that is solid as a rock, and that one does not go through you. I'm sure you can put together the rest. And this same problem happens in the middle of doing what they call feats, those free roam challenges. That is also a problem. If you're gonna rip off Horizon, essentially, that's what this is, you could at least have the audacity to rip like the good parts from it too. Like the traffic cars going ghost when you hit a skill. There's more than that, but these are the most prevalent complaints of mine that at least I can think of off the top of my head. Now with that out of the way, as I've said, I like this game a lot. Motorfest has definitely turned into my main squeeze. Every time I turn on my console, I immediately get on Motorfest. Between the challenges, the grand races, Summit, and customizing cars, I'm just short of 100 hours already, and the game has barely been out for a week. I don't feel it necessary, but I'm going to bring it up anyway. The sounds in this game are awesome. Almost every car sounds exactly how you would expect, and then you throw in pseudo engine swaps, vehicle variability shoots through the roof. You want an LS and Nissan? Go ahead. Maybe you want an air-cooled inline 6, perhaps a V12. Maybe you want to put a rotary in a Mustang. EV swap? Sure. The customization is good. Still the same wheels since the first game with less finish options than the first game, which still pisses me off. I don't understand why all of my aftermarket rims have to be chrome. Sometimes I want a brushed silver or powder black. Hell, maybe I want flat black rims. I mean, sure, there's a time and place for chrome, but god damn, after not being able to change rim material for the last 5 years, I'm pretty pissed about this. But yeah, other than that, the customization is really good. Moving on to vanity items, if you played Crew 2, you know what this is about. Honestly, most of the vanities are beyond childish and OTT, but there's a handful of good looking and sounding vanities. Neons, window tints, tires, and the newest addition I touched on earlier, engine swaps, which is honestly probably my favorite thing with the vanities now. Although, if you couldn't tell, I do like me a bit of neon. And when it comes to the livery editor, it works fine. Some more in-universe sponsor stickers would have been nice, and the ability to upload and download sticker groups would be great. I almost feel like that should be the standard for any video game that has like player-made stickers and vinyls as an option. I don't know how I'm going to end this video, so I think I'll call it here. I just wanted to show you what I thought was fun and talk about the game. Last gripe, it would be nice to have working mirrors. Okay, that's it. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you letting me waste your time, however much of it was. Have a good day, take it easy, like, subscribe, and I'll see you all next time. Whenever that is.